Countdown is a British game show involving word and number puzzles. It is produced by ITV Studios and broadcast on Channel 4. It is presented by Nick Hewer, assisted by Richard Whiteley, with regular lexicographer Susie Dent. It was the first programme to be aired on Channel 4, and 70 series have been broadcast since its debut on November 2, 1982. With over 5,000 episodes, Countdown is one of the longest-running game shows in the world, along with the original French version, Des Chiffres et des Lettres, which has been running on French television continuously since 1965. Countdown was initially recorded at the Leeds Studios for 27 years, before moving to Granada Studios in 2009, and then over to MediaCityUK in Salford Quays in 2013. The programme was presented by Richard Whiteley for over 20 years, until his death in June 2005. It was then presented by Des Lynam until the end of 2006, Des O'Connor until the end of 2008, and Jeff Stelling until the end of 2011. The current presenter is Nick Hewer. Carol Vorderman, the show's co-host, who had been on the programme since it began, left the show in December 2008, at the same time as O'Connor. She was replaced by Richard Whiteley. A celebrity guest features in every programme, and provides a brief interlude midway between the two advertisement breaks. The two contestants in each episode compete in 3 disciplines, 10 letters rounds, in which the contestants attempt to make the longest word possible from 9 randomly chosen letters. 4 numbers rounds, in which the contestants must use arithmetic to reach a random target number from 6 other numbers. And the Conundrum, a buzzer round in which the contestants compete to solve a 9-letter anagram. During the series heats, the winning contestant returns the next day until he or she loses or has accumulated 8 wins. The best contestants are invited back for the series finals, which are decided in knockout format. Contestants of exceptional skill have received national media coverage, and the programme as a whole is widely recognised and parodied within British culture. History. Origin. Countdown is based on the French game show Des Chiffres et des Lettres, created by Armand Jamet. The format was brought to Britain by Marcel Stelman, a Belgian record executive, who had watched the French show and believed it could be popular overseas. Yorkshire Television purchased the format and commissioned a series of 8 shows under the title Calendar Countdown, which were to be a spin-off of their regional news programme Calendar. As the presenter of Calendar, Richard Whiteley was the natural choice to present Calendar Countdown. His daily appearances on both shows earned him the nickname Twice Nightly. These shows were only broadcast in the Yorkshire area. An additional pilot episode was made, with a refined format, although it was never broadcast. A new British television channel, Channel 4, was due to launch in November 1982, and bought the newly renamed Countdown on the strength of this additional episode. Countdown was the first programme to be broadcast on the new channel. Junior Countdown. Channel 4 originally planned a parallel Junior Countdown in which the contestants were children. The pilot episode was filmed on November 26, 1982, less than a month after the first adult version was broadcast. The presenter was Giles Brandreth, with Ted Moulton Dictionary Corner. The format mirrored that of the adult version. No further episodes were filmed, and the pilot episode was never broadcast. Brandreth, speaking on Countdown in November 2012, stated that the concept had proved disastrous, and was abandoned. Presenters. Calendar Countdown was presented by Richard Whiteley, with Kathy Hittner and Denise McFarland Crookshanks managing the numbers and letters rounds respectively. When Countdown was commissioned for Channel 4, the number of hostesses expanded further. Kathy Hittner and Beverly Isherwood selected the letters and numbers tiles respectively, and calculations in the numbers rounds were checked by Linda Barrett or Carol Vorderman. Vorderman, a Cambridge graduate and member of Mensa, was appointed as one of the numbers experts after responding to an advertisement in a national newspaper which asked for a young woman who would like to become a game show hostess. Unlike almost any other game show hostess of the time, however, the advertisement also made it clear that the applicant's appearance would be less important than their being a talented mathematician. Gradually the tasks performed by the extra presenters were taken over by Carol Vorderman, whose role within the show essentially became that of co-presenter. Whiteley fell ill with septicemia in 2005, and as a result he was no longer able to record Countdown, and several specials with celebrities hosting were filmed in his stead. Although Whiteley made a slow recovery from his illness, he died on June 26, 2005 after a failed operation to correct a problem with his heart that had been detected. Channel 4 took the following show off the air as a mark of respect, and the following program was preceded by a tearful tribute from Carol Vorderman. The final 5 shows Whiteley had filmed were aired, after which the show was placed on hiatus before returning in October 2005 with Des Lynam as the main presenter. On September 30, 2006, Lynam said that he had decided to leave the program after Christmas 2006. Lynam's departure was due to travel requirements for the demanding filming schedule, with the show recorded in Leeds and Lynam living 250 miles away in Worthing, West Sussex. Channel 4 had tried an extra program on Saturday in early 2006 which Lynam had agreed to, subject to part of the filming schedule being moved nearer to his home. However, viewers reacted angrily to the idea of the show leaving Leeds, and, when Lynam found out that a move would cause considerable disruption for many of the program's camera crew, he decided to leave. On November 7, 2006, it was announced that Des O'Connor would succeed Lynam as host. Lynam's final show as Countdown presenter was broadcast on December 22, 2006. O'Connor first presented Countdown on January 2, 2007. The other studio mainstay is Dictionary Corner, which houses a lexicographer and that week's celebrity guest. Initially farmer and broadcaster Ted Moult was on hand for verification. The role of the lexicographer is to verify the words offered by the contestants and point out any longer or otherwise interesting words available. The lexicographer is aided in finding these words by the show's producers, Michael Wiley and Damien Eddy. The production team is insistent that no computer program is used in this role, and that the words suggested in Dictionary Corner have been found manually. Many lexicographers have appeared over the years, but since her debut in 1992, Susie Dent has become synonymous with the role, and has made over 3,000 appearances. The celebrity guest, sometimes known as the dictionary dweller, also contributes words, and provides a short interlude halfway through the second section of the show. These guests have included Nigel Rees, Joe Brand, Martin Jarvis, Richard Dickens, Jeffrey Durham, Gilles Brandreth, Ken Bruce, Pam Ayres, Paul Zenon and John Sargent, providing poems, anecdotes, puzzles and magic tricks. Alison Hurd replaced Susie Dent over the winter of 2007-08, whilst Dent was on maternity leave. Dent returned to the series on February 6, 2008. It was announced in July 2008 that Des O'Connor would be stepping down as host in December 2008. In the same month, it became apparent that long-serving presenter and number cruncher Carol Vorderman would also leave the game show at the same time. On November 21, 2008, Jeff Stelling was confirmed as the new host, with Oxford graduate Rachel Riley in the Vorderman role. Riley has since become known for her stylish outfits worn on the show. It was announced on May 24, 2011 that Stelling would be leaving the program, and he presented his final show on December 16, 2011. On November 16, 2011, it was announced that Nick Hewer would be taking over as host, with his first show broadcast on January 9, 2012. Character. Countdown quickly established cult status within British television, an image which it maintains today, despite numerous changes of rules and personnel. The program's audience comprises mainly students, housewives and pensioners, owing to the tea-time broadcast slot and inclusive appeal of its format and presentation. Countdown has been one of Channel 4's most watched programs for over 20 years, but has never won a major television award. When Des Lynam became the new presenter after Whiteley's death in 2005, the show regularly drew an average 1.7 million viewers every day €, which was around 500,000 more than in the last few years of Richard Whiteley presenting Euro, and the Series 54 final, on May 26, 2006, attracted 2.5 million viewers. From €4 million viewers had watched the show daily in its previous 4:15 p.m. slot. the drop in viewers following the scheduling change, coupled with the show's perceived educational benefits, even caused Labour MP Jonathan Shaw to table a motion in the UK Parliament, requesting that the show be returned to its later time. Minor scheduling changes have subsequently seen the show move from 3:15 to 3:30, to 3:45 to 3:25, and 3:10. In keeping with the show's friendly nature, contestants compete not for money but the Countdown Winners Teapot, which is custom-made and can only be obtained by winning a game on the programme. Until 2009, the prize for the series winner was a leather-bound copy of the 20-volume Oxford English Dictionary, worth £4,000. Since then, the prize consists of ordinary hardback 21-volume dictionaries, a laptop computer and a lifetime subscription to Oxford Online. David Acton, winner of Series 31, opted for a CD-ROM version of the dictionaries, not wanting to accept leather-bound books owing to his strict veganism, and he donated the monetary difference to charity. Since 2006, the series champion also receives the Richard Whiteley Memorial Trophy, in memory of the show's original presenter. Though the style and colour scheme of the set have changed many times, the clock has always provided the centrepiece and, like the clock music composed by Alan Hawkshaw, is an enduring and well-recognised feature of Countdown. Executive producer John Mead once commissioned Hawkshaw to revise the music for extra intensity. After hundreds of complaints from viewers, the old tune was reinstated. The original clock featured until September 2013, when it was replaced. Celebrations, the first episode of Countdown was repeated on October 1, 2007 on More 4 and on November 2, 2007 on Channel 4, as part of Channel 4 at 25, a season of celebratory Channel 4 programs as it celebrated its 25th birthday. On November 2, 2007, Countdown celebrated its 25th anniversary and aired a special birthday episode. The two players were 2006 winner Connor Travers and 2002 winner Chris Wills. However, for the rounds, VIP guests selected the letters and numbers. Guests included Gordon Brown, Amir Khan and Richard Attenborough. A statement from the French TV network France Tar Copyright La Copyright Visions was read out on air by Carol Vorderman to commend Channel 4 on its success of Countdown. On March 26, 2010, Queen Elizabeth II congratulated Countdown for amassing 5,000 episodes. Departures of Vorderman and O'Connor. On July 23, 2008, it was announced that O'Connor would be leaving the show at the end of the 59th series in December 2008 to concentrate on other projects. ITV Studios announced on July 25, 2008 that Carol Vorderman would also be leaving at the end of the same series. Vorderman had been willing to accept a 33% salary decrease in line with a 33% budget cut being imposed on the show, but felt she was forced to leave after being asked to accept a 90% pay cut. Her agent, John Miles, claims Vorderman had been told the show had survived the death of host Richard Whiteley in 2005 and could easily survive without you. The early favourite in the betting to replace Des O'Connor, Rory Bremner, ruled himself out. Later reports suggested Alexander Armstrong and Jeff Stelling as potential hosts, although Armstrong later revealed he had refused the job. Anthea Turner, Ulrika Johnson, and Marlene Klaas were all linked with Vorderman's job. However, Channel 4 then began to search for a previously unknown male or female arithmetician with charm and charisma. Eventually, on November 21, 2008, after O'Connor and Vorderman had finished filming, it was confirmed that Stelling and Oxford Maths graduate Rachel Riley would join the show, with Susie Dent continuing as resident lexicographer. Format: Countdown has occupied a tea-time broadcast slot since its inception. Currently an episode lasts around 45 minutes including advertising breaks. During the normal series, the winner of each game returns for the next day's show. If a player wins 8 games, he is declared an octochamp, and retires until the series finals. At the end of the series, the 8 players with most wins are invited back to compete in the series finals. They are seeded in a knockout tournament, with the first seed playing the 8th seed, the second playing the 7th, and so on. The winner of this knockout, which culminates in the grand final, becomes the series champion. Each series lasts around 6 months, with about 125 episodes. Approximately every 4 series, a Champion of Champions tournament takes place. For this, 16 of the best players to have appeared since the previous championship are invited back for another knockout tournament. The producer, former contestant Damien Eddy, decides which players to include, but typically the tournament includes the series winners and other noteworthy contestants. Series 33 was designated a Supreme Championship, in which 56 of the best contestants from all the previous series returned for another knockout tournament. Series 10 champion Harvey Freeman was declared Supreme Champion after beating Alan Saldana in the final. There are also occasional special episodes, in which past contestants return for themed matches. For example, David Acton and Kenneth Mitchie returned for a rematch of their Series 31 final, while brothers and former contestants Sanjay and Sandeep Mazumdar played off against each other on December 20, 2004. The game is split into 3 sections, separated by advertising breaks. The first section contains 2 letters rounds and a numbers round, the second has 4 letters rounds and 2 numbers rounds, while the last section has 4 letters rounds, a numbers round and a final conundrum. At the end of the first 2 sections, Hewer poses an anagram with a cryptic clue for the viewers, called the Tea Time Teaser. The solution is revealed at the start of the next section. When the Tea Time teaser was first introduced, the anagrams were 7 letters long, but they have since been extended to 8. Letters round, letter tiles are arranged face down in 2 piles. One all consonants, the other vowels. The contestant picks a pile, and Riley reveals the top tile from that pile and places it on the board. A selection of 9 tiles is generated in this way, and must contain at least 3 vowels and 4 consonants. Then the clock is started and both contestants have 30 seconds to come up with the longest word they can make from the available letters. Each letter may be used only as often as it appears in the selection. The frequencies of the letters within each pile are weighted according to their frequency in natural English, in the same manner as Scrabble. For example, there are many NS and RS in the consonant pile, but only 1 Q. The letter frequencies are altered by the producers from time to time, so any published list does not necessarily reflect the letters used in any particular program. Contestants write down the words they have found during the round, in case they both have the same one. After the 30 seconds are up, the players declare the length of their chosen word, with the player who selected the letters declaring first. If either player has not written their word down in time, he or she must declare this also. The words are then revealed, shorter word first. If the 2 declarations are of the same length, the player selecting the letters reveals first, unless one player has not written his or her word down, in which case that contestant reveals first. Only the contestant with the longer word scores points. Both score in the event of a tie. 1 point is scored per letter, except for 9-letter words, which score double points. If a contestant offers an invalid word, then they score no points. If the second player reveals the same word as the first, this must be proved by showing the word to the other contestant. Finally, Dictionary Corner reveals the best words they could find from the selection, aided by the production team. Any word which appears in the Oxford Dictionary of English is allowable, as well as some inflections. Standard inflections of nouns and verbs are for example, escapes, escaped and escaping are accepted even though not explicitly shown in the dictionary. Comparative and superlative forms of monosyllabic adjectives are for example, greater and greatest are valid although these 2 are not explicitly shown. For longer adjectives, the inflections must be stated explicitly. However, some words given in the dictionary are not permitted: proper nouns, hyphenated words, some plurals of mass nouns, and words that occur only in combination. For example, missile is invalid as it is used only in missile thrush. Also, only British spelling is permitted. American spellings and inflections, such as flavor and signaled, are invalid. Example: Contestant 1 chooses 5 consonants, then 3 vowels, then another consonant. Selection is, gyhdnoeur. Contestant 1 declares 7, while Contestant 2 declares 8. Contestant 1 reveals younger, but Contestant 2 has hydrogen and scores 8 points. Contestant 1 receives no points for this round. Dictionary corner notes Greyhound, which would have scored 18 points, since 9-letter words score double. Numbers round, 1 contestant selects 6 of 24 shuffled tiles. The tiles are arranged into 2 groups, 4 large numbers, and the remainder small numbers, which comprise 2 each of the numbers 1 to 10. The contestant chooses how many large numbers are in the selection. Anywhere from none to all 4. A random 3-digit target is generated by an electronic machine, affectionately known as Cecil. The contestants then have 30 seconds to get as near to the target as possible by combining the 6 numbers selected using addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Not all numbers need to be used. A number can be used as many times as it appears. Fractions are not allowed. Only positive integers may be used at any stage of the calculation. Carol/Rachel can also choose the numbers if any of these occurs. The contestant in his/her turn decides not to pick the numbers. Before gameplay, it would be told by the host that neither contestants could choose the numbers. Points are awarded for the closest solution, and again both contestants score if the solutions are equally close. 10 points are given for an exact answer, 7 points for a non-exact solution up to 5 from the target, 5 points for a solution between 6 and 10 from the target. If neither contestant can get within 10, no points are awarded. Example, contestant 1 requests 2 large numbers and 4 small numbers. Selection is 75 52 387. Randomly generated target is 812. Contestant 1 declares 813, while contestant 2 declares 815. Contestant 1 is closer and so reveals 75 plus 50 €8 equals 117, and 117 7 equals 813, which scores 7 points. Rachel Riley notes, 50 plus 8 equals 58, and 7 2 58 equals 812, which would have scored 10 points. In some games, there are many ways to reach the target exactly. The example target above could also be reached by 7 equals 812. Not all games are solvable, and for a few selections it is impossible even to get within 10. Most commonly when a contestant picks 6 small numbers and the target number is quite large, there is a tactical element in selecting how many large numbers to include. 1 large and 5 small numbers is the most popular selection, despite 2 large numbers giving the best chance of the game being solvable exactly. Selections with 0 or 4 large numbers are generally considered the hardest. The numbers are usually placed from right to left, starting with the small numbers and then the large numbers. In some episodes, the small and large numbers were placed and displayed in disorder. Example, contestant requested 1 from the top, 2 from the second row, and 3 more from the top. Selection is 50 10 6 25 175. There are some other popular and numbers selections mostly used in the history of the game. Inverted T, 1, 2, 1, 2, 4 large and opposite corners. The very first numbers game with Richard and Carol was a selection of 6 small with a target of 493. On Carol and Des's last show, the last numbers game was Charlie Reams's selection of all large, 2 small, 100, 75, 50, 25, 6, and 4, with a target of 297. Both contestants met the target in the same way. 50, 6 minus 75/25. On Rachel's first show, she started with the selection of 4 large, but with an easy target of 503. A special edition, broadcast on March 15, 2010, for 2 previous series champions, Kirk Bevins and Chris Davis, used instead of the usual 4 large numbers, the numbers 12, 37 and 2 numbers unrevealed for the duration of the show. In a further special broadcast on August 16, 2010 between the Series 59 finalists Charlie Reams and Junaid Mubin, the other 2 numbers were revealed to be 62 and 87. On the 8 out of 10 Cats rematch episode, Joe Wilkinson took over Rachel's place for the second numbers game. During that round, contestant Sean Locke teamed with Rachel and it was his turn to pick. He requested all the large numbers. After Joe placed the 6 numbers, the target number was too easy for both Sean and John to accomplish, making Joe change the target number twice to make it harder. Conundrum. The final round of the game is the countdown conundrum. A board revolves to reveal the conundrum, a 9-letter anagram, usually arranged in the form of 2 condensed words. The contestants have 30 seconds to find the 9-letter word. The first contestant to buzz with the correct answer is awarded 10 points, but each contestant may guess only once. If neither contestant guesses correctly, the presenter asks if anyone in the audience knows the word, and if so, chooses someone to shout it out. Once a contestant guesses correctly or the time expires, a second board rotates to reveal the answer. Each conundrum is designed to have only one solution, but if, unintentionally, the conundrum has 2 answers, then either is accepted. A crucial countdown conundrum occurs if, before the conundrum, both contestants have scores which are within 10 points of each other. The first contestant to answer correctly wins the game. If the scores are level after the conundrum, additional conundrums are used until the match is decided. There have been several games where 2 conundrums were used at the end of the show, but only a handful of games containing 3 tie-break conundrums. Example: conundrum is revealed, CHINALUNG. Contestant 1 buzzes, and says launching, which scores 10 points. Evolution: the rules of countdown are derived from those of des chiffres et des lettres. Perhaps the biggest difference is the length of the round. DCEDL's number rounds are each 45 seconds long to countdown's 30. DCEDL also feature duels, in which players compete in short tasks such as mental arithmetic problems, extracting 2 themed words from another, or being asked to spell a word correctly. Other minor differences include a different numbers scoring system and the proportion of letters to numbers rounds. The pilot episode followed significantly different rules from the current ones. Most noticeably, only 8 letters were selected for each letters round. If 2 contestants offered a word of the same length, or an equally close solution to a numbers game, then only the contestant who made the selection for that round was awarded points. Also, only 5 points were given for an exact number solution, 3 for a solution within 5, and 1 point for the closer solution, no matter how far away. Until the end of Series 21, if the 2 contestants had equal scores after the first conundrum, the match was considered a draw and they both returned for the next show. A significant change in the format occurred in September 2001, when the show was expanded from 9 rounds and 30 minutes to the current 15 rounds and 45 minutes. The older format was split into 2 halves, each having 3 letters and 1 numbers game, with the conundrum at the end of the second half. When the format was expanded to 15 rounds, Richard Whiteley continued to refer jokingly to the 3 segments of the show as halves. Under the old format, grand finals were specially extended shows of 14 rounds, but now all shows use a 15-round format. The rules regarding which words are permitted have changed with time. American spelling was allowed until 2002, and more unspecified inflections were assumed to be valid. In September 2007, a new feature was added to the show in which Susie Dent explains the origin of a word or phrase which she had been researching. This origin of words spot currently follows the 8th letters round, almost midway through the 3rd section of the program. For the short time Susie was on maternity leave, this edition was not continued. However, when she returned on Wednesday 6 February 2008, it was reinstated. When the 15-round format was first introduced in September 2001, the composition of the rounds was different from that used by the program today. The 3 sections each had 5 rounds, 4 letters rounds and 1 numbers round in each of the first 2 sections, with 3 letters rounds, 1 numbers round and the conundrum in the 3rd section. This meant that there was a slight imbalance, whereby one contestant made the letters sections for 6 rounds, but had the choice of the numbers selection just once, whereas the other contestant chose letters 5 times and numbers twice. The Dictionary Corner guest spot was immediately before the first advertising break, and Susie Dent's Origin of Words spot preceded the second numbers game shortly before the second break. The change to the present format was made on March 25, 2013, 3 weeks into the second section of Series 68, to comply with Channel 4's decision to increase the amount of adverts and alter the times when they occurred during the program, therefore reducing Countdown's actual show length from 36 to 35 minutes. Notable contestants. Since Countdown's debut in 1982, there have been over 5,700 televised games and 67 complete series. There have also been 13 Champion of Champions tournaments, with the most recent starting in January 2013 as a special 30th birthday championship. Several of Countdown's most successful contestants have received national media coverage. Teenager Julian Fell set a record score of 146 in December 2002. In 2006, 14-year-old Connor Travers became the youngest series champion in the show's history, and 11-year-old Kyle Laderman became the youngest Octot champ for 20 years. Connor Travers went on to win the 30th anniversary Champion of Champions series in March 2013 with a record equaling top score of 146. At 8 years old, Tan Maydurgsit was one of the youngest players ever to appear on the show when he achieved 2 wins in March 2005. He also received press attention for his offerings in the letters round, which included Fannies and Fatted. In April 2013, Giles Hutchings, a student at Royal Grammar School, Guildford broke the record for the highest Octot champ score, amassing 965 points over 8 games. He went on to win Series 68. 3 former contestants have returned to Countdown as part of the production team, Michael Wiley, Mark Naman and Damien Eddy. In 1998, 16 celebrities were invited to play Celebrity Countdown, a series of 8 games broadcast every Thursday evening over the course of 8 weeks. The celebrities included Whiteley's successor Des Lynam, who beat Sir Senten Lloyd. The highest and lowest scores were posted in the same game when TV's Geoffrey Munn beat glamour model Jodie Marsh 47 €9. Richard Whiteley and Carol Vorderman competed in another special episode on Christmas Day 1997. For this game, the presenter's chair was taken by William G. Stewart, the host of fellow Channel 4 game show 15 to 1. Susie Dent took over Vorderman's duties, and Mark Naman occupied Dictionary Corner, accompanied by Magnus Magnusson. The game was close-fought, and decided only by the crucial countdown Conundrum mistletoe which Vorderman solved in 2 seconds, after Whiteley had inadvertently buzzed after 1 second, because when he regularly hosted the show, he hit the button to reveal the conundrum and kept his old habit up. Contestants who have or had become notable for other reasons include Nuts magazine editor-at-large Pete Cashmore, rugby player Iula Erin, footballer Neil Mackenzie, musician John Marsh, musician Nick Salomon, comedian Alex Horn and footballer Clark Carlisle. In popular culture, Countdown is often referenced and parodied in British culture. Assorted Allusions, the Doctor Who episode Bad Wolf mentions a futuristic version of Countdown, in which the goal is to stop a bomb from exploding in 30 seconds. Countdown was referenced again in a later series in Last of the Time Lords, where Professor Docherty expresses a keen fondness for the show and how it hasn't been the same since Des took over both Des's. In the 2002 film About a Boy, protagonist Will Freeman is a regular viewer of Countdown. Fairport Convention guitarist Simon Nicol named one of his solo records Consonant Please, Carol, echoing one of the show's most famous catchphrases. Outtakes, Countdown has also generated a number of popular outtakes, with the letters occasionally producing a word that was deemed unsuitable for the original broadcast. A round in which Dictionary Corner offered the word gobshite featured in TV's Finest Failures in 2001, and in one episode, contestants Gino Corr and Lawrence Pierce both declared the word wankers. This was edited out of the program but has since appeared on many outtakes shows. When contestant Charlie Reams declared wankers on October 21, 2008 edition, the declaration was kept in but the word itself was bleeped. Other incidents with only marginally rude words have made it into the program as they appeared, such as those with Tan Maydurgsit referenced above, a clip from a 2001 episode in which the word fart appeared as the first four letters on the board, and a round where an anagram of the word fucked appeared on the board in the string AUODFCKEG, although neither player chose to use the word, and Dictionary Corner was able to find two 7-letter words that could have been made from the board's offerings. In an episode from spring 2011, the Blackpool supporting producer of the show arranged the Conundrum from a crisis, poking fun at their local rivals Preston North End's relegation from the Championship in the 2010 Euro 11 season. Humour: the programme is mentioned in an episode of Irish sitcom Further Ted entitled The Old Grey Whistle Theft, Still Game, and is also referenced in the very first episode of Little Britain from 2003. BBC Impressions sketch show, Dead Ringers, parodies Countdown numerous times, and another television programme, The Big Breakfast, parodied Countdown in a feature called Countdown Under. In a sketch Countdown to Hell from the comedy show A Bit of Fry and Laurie, Stephen Ferry lampooned Richard Whiteley's punning style and Hugh Laurie played one of the contestants, while Gilles Brandreth, presented with the letters Bollocks, got Thewart Sloblock. The show also has a fleeting reference in British sitcom The Office when Chris Finch attempts to insult temporary worker Ricky when he explains he had a job to pay for his studies. Finchy states that it probably was professor in charge of watching Countdown every day, commenting on its student audience, and referring to the fact anyone watching Countdown during its home time slot cannot be out at work. In the BBC sitcom My Family, Nick is a fan of Countdown. In the 2003 Christmas special, Richard Whiteley even made a special guest appearance, which amuses Nick. In another episode, Nick is taken aback when he thinks that bad news about his father is really about a cancellation of Countdown. The format of the show has been parodied on Have I Got News for You? In 1999, when Richard was a guest, the numbers game was copied along with the famous clock music, and at the end of the show was a conundrum. The conundrum was Fan Ewells, to which the answer was Ian Hislop. In 2004, when Carol was a guest, one of the usual rounds was replaced with a conundrum round based on the week's news. When Carol hosted the show in 2006, one of the rounds was the spinning conundrum numbers round, altering the spinning headlines round, by adding a number to a picture relating to the week's news, then at the end of the round the 6 numbers from the picture were used for a numbers game. Richard Whiteley was the victim of a practical joke while presenting the show. The contestants and rounds had been planted as part of a gotcha, a regular prank feature on the light entertainment show Noel's House Party. In the prank, both the two contestants and Dictionary Corner missed the word something from the letters Amethings, and from another selection, both of the contestants declared I've got diarrhea, referring to the selection. In the numbers round that followed, the male contestant answered the puzzle by reading out the numbers. Whiteley did not uncover the joke until House Party presenter Noel Edmonds appeared on the set, having revealed the unusually short conundrum of Hog had to be gotcha at the end of the program. In a 2003 episode of Top Gear, Richard Whiteley participated in the star in a reasonably priced car segment. Before Whiteley's lap was shown, presenter Jeremy Clarkson played a game of Countdown with Whiteley, using words such as IMIN, Sigzul, Never Lard, I Mushy Bits, and Piano's Shiazu. It was also referred to on Harry Hill's TV Burp twice. The first time it was referred to was when Dev made a sound like the countdown end of 30 seconds time. The second time was when the competition, Where Has the Knitted Character Been This Week? Had the answer, on Rachel Riley's chair. On July 2, 2010, the game was featured in the episode The Final Countdown of the IT Crowd. Moss stuns everyone by declaring that the 9-letter string Tntimba is in fact a word. Later, Moss becomes an octochamp and is consequently invited into an underground club named 8+, where he competes in a game of Street Countdown as part of a spoof of Boogie Town. British entertainer Stevie Ricks has also parodied the show on one of his many YouTube comedy videos. Non-canon games, the game has also been played on a number of different programs, notably as the first challenge in What's Next on Ant and December's Saturday Night Takeaway, featuring the pair versus one of the duo's old head teachers. In 2010, it was played as a shopping task on the final Channel 4 series of Celebrity Big Brother. with a team of housemates competing in the house against the then current champion, Chris Davis, in the Countdown studio via satellite. The housemates failed this task. 8 out of 10 cats does Countdown. Between 2012 and 2014, a series of crossover episodes between 8 out of 10 cats and Countdown have aired. The show follows the format of Countdown, but uses panelists from 8 out of 10 cats. Internet community. There is a strong Internet Countdown community, which is mainly centered around the forums C4 Countdown and the training website Apteris. Indeed, since the website's inception all the series winners have used the website to train, as have many of the other finalists. Transmissions, Series, Masters Series, Celebrity Series, Junior Championship, Ladies Championship, Special Episodes, 18th Birthday, 3000th Episode, 25th Anniversary, 5000th Episode, 30th Anniversary, Other, 8 out of 10 cats does Countdown, Merchandise, several board games, books and video games have been released under the franchise. Many board games have been developed to replicate the rules and gameplay of the television show. The board game will often consist of a board to place letters and number on, several scorecards, a selection of numbers and letters, a number generator and a timing device. In the late 80s early 90s, Lexibook released digital handheld version of Countdown. These contained LCD black and white displays and a variety of physical controls. Many of these often bore the official Countdown logo. In 2006, University Games released a Countdown DVD game, which contained recorded clips specifically for the game. Gameplay is achieved via a DVD player and the remote control. The DVD was sold disc-only, or as a bundle containing notepads and pencils. In 2009, Mindscape released Countdown games for the Nintendo DS and the Wii. Gameplay is replicated as it is on the show. On the DS version, players can compete against each other via download play, using a single game card. International versions. In the 80s the Dutch version Chiffres and Letters ran for many years and was broadcast by the public TV station KRO. Presenters were Bob Boomer, March van Weegen and Robert ten Brink, who later also presented the Dutch version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. From 1989 to 1993 a Flemish version was produced by the Belgian commercial TV station VTM. In Belgium many local clubs were founded where people could play the game themselves. In 1991, a Spanish version of this show was released, Chiffres y Lettres. The show was originally presented by Elisenda Roca, along with a word expert and mathematician. As this show progressed, a second version of the same show was also produced, which covered Latin American Spanish. The current Peninsular Spanish edition is presented by Paco Ladero. Shortly after this, a Galician version was also released, Chiffres y Lettres, differing from the above only in the fact that it used Galician instead of Spanish, and a studio design variation. This version is also presented by Paco Ladero, assisted by the physicist Jorge Mira and the poet Yolanda Castor ±O, and broadcast by the Galician TV channels in Spain, Europe and South America. Other versions include A Word or Two and Berclimb, Berilum. On August 2, 2010, the new Australian version entitled Letters and Numbers debuted on SBS, hosted by Richard Whiteley. Each episode is 30 minutes long and consists of 5 letters rounds, 3 numbers rounds and the Conundrum. The last episode was aired on June 27, 2012, after 5 series and 1 Masters series. The time slot was filled with the UK version of Countdown. In September 2012, an Isle of Man version of the show was broadcast, which saw the first teenager take part on the show. Connor Christian, now a student at Lancaster University, took the place of a contestant who could not make it to the show. Although succeeding at every number round, he lost at all letters and anagrams rounds, causing him to lose the game. Sponsors. Countdown has been sponsored by the following companies over the years, see also, List of Countdown champions, references. Countdown, spreading the word. ISBN 0-233-99976-0, external links. Countdown at channel4.com Countdown at the Internet Movie Database. Countdown at TV.com. Countdown at the BFI Screen Online. Countdown at igameshows.com. The Countdown page, results from every game. The Countdown key. 2, for an online version of the game featuring Des Lynam, Carol, and Susie. Letters and numbers on iPhone, iPad,